G'day kids and mums and dads, welcome back to the Charlie Boots workshop. In this video we're building a model from our STEM range of +year-olds and it's going to be our Pendulum. If you haven't already, make sure you watch the video before this one on the webpage you're looking at, and it talks about how to set up a safe creative workspace. Look after little pieces so your brothers and sisters don't eat them. Apart from that, let's get stuck into it and we'll do the unboxing. Here's our box, and the STEM range of kits are really well presented. The kit will have our instructions, we'll have our wooden frames where we have all our components attached to them. It's important, as the instructions say, is to not punch out all the pieces at once. Only take the pieces as you need them when you follow the instructions. So there's those. We have a study guide talking about the history of pendulums, what the mechanism does, the main characteristics, so definitely pretty exciting to read up about that. And then also in the box we have some extra pieces in here, which will be a rubber band and our wax to lubricate any of the moving parts in there. Let's get stuck into reading the instructions, which is always the first step when you're building something like this. Get really familiar with all the different steps, the information that the kits come with, just so that everything works, you're not making any mistakes, and you have the model you're looking for at the end. And you'll see here that these STEM kits come with spares and tools, such as a measuring tool here and some spares here. So should you break anything, there are spares there, and you can tell the spares because it'll have the little hospital symbol there. With this model as well, you can scan code here, and then you can do virtual reality on this model, and it talks about how the model works and seeing it in action digitally as well as in person. So it's pretty exciting. But we'll get stuck into it. So opening to page 1 and off we go. So you can see that it tells us which pieces we need from which frame. So I need obviously this frame here and pieces 5, 6, the 2 1s, 3, piece 7, piece 4 and piece 2, and I also need my tool to help, my tool's right here, to help push the pieces out. So I'll take that out first and I'll start popping these pieces out as I need them. So first of all, step 1, we need pieces, 2 pieces 1. Nice and gentle, pop them out. When you're pushing on these, push all the way around the edge. Don't try to push in one spot. It's the easiest way to pop them out. Alright, so they go together. We need piece 2. Which holds those 2 together. Like that. Piece 3. Which is this one here at the top. It goes at the end there and it slides all the way up close as it can to piece number 2. Push it down, lock it into position, and then we need piece number 4, which is this piece here. Now be delicate when you're pushing this out, because these pieces here, these long tangs, you don't want to push on them because they may break. And we don't have a spare number 4, I don't think. On it goes, and make sure you got it around correctly. Don't put it the other way. Make sure it's on correctly as per the instructions. And that goes all the way in, like that. And then we have piece 5. This is quite a large cog here with some notches on the inside, and on it goes like that. What we also need to do is wax these points here. See these bits here, and that way they'll be able to move freely around number 5. And on goes number 5. If you can hear that sound clicking, it's working perfectly. Then we have piece 6, and you can see that there's directional arrows on these pieces here. Make sure that you're putting the pieces on with the arrows going the same way. So you can see an arrow here on our piece 4, and our piece 6 needs to go the same direction, and on goes piece 7 onto piece 6. Like that. Like so. And then we have piece 8. Piece 8 goes on there like so. So that's steps 1 through 8 done. Moving on now, we've got step 9 where we need the 2 9s which go on top of piece 8 which we just put on. So there's one of them. And the second piece 9, that's step 9. Step 10 is we need a piece 10 and a piece 2. So this is 10 here. And we have another piece 2 here. And we need to wax these pieces on the outside to reduce friction later on. And piece 10 goes on first. On it goes, and then piece 2. So what it's telling us is this is component A, and this is how component A should look. If it doesn't, just go back through the instructions, make sure that you've got everything done correctly. So I'll put that to one side for 1 second. Now we have to get out a rubber band, and there's a couple of different types in here, so you can make sure we select the right one. So there's 3 of these longer ones, longer and wider, and then there's 2 of the shorter and narrower rubber bands. So in this instance, we need to get the longer one, which is 5 millimeters across and 60 millimeters long, which is this one here. And we will need to make some cuts 15 millimeters long. To do this, I'm going to be using a pair of pliers, nice and simple. And we find our tool and we put the rubber band up against our measuring guide on the side of the tool, measure out 15 millimeters, make a cut, just like so, and we'll need 2 of those. Now if you need mum or dad's help with cutting this, by all means get their help, but if you're 13 years old or more, you should be pretty okay putting this together. Right, rubber bands back aside, and now we need this frame here with piece 11, and you'll see that piece 11 also has pieces inside, so we'll just pop that out and put that to one side, trying to keep those pieces inside that frame all together. So that's piece 13 and 14. We'll put them to one side. So what we do need is pieces 12. They are the rubber feet that go on the base of the side of the pendulum. So rubber band goes on here like so. This piece goes over the top, and basically that just forms a nice little rubber cushion so that the pendulum will grip the table better and also not move around. So rubber band on. Just like so. And there you can see how those feet look. So now we put component A goes through there like so, and then we put our 13 and our 14 on top of that, and that locks that component into the arm, the side of the pendulum. There it goes. So it should be able to still freely move like that. 13. on goes our 2/14. And it's telling you here, this is how your model should look when you're looking down at it. And ours does. So, it's now on to frame number 2 for these steps here. And when you push this out, and we're going to make our feet again. I'm going to put 1 foot on here. So we'll get our rubber band, we'll measure out our 15 millimeters like we did last time. Pliers are really good to use because you keep your fingers out of the cutting blade, and it doesn't need to be very sharp because we're cutting a rubber band. It's not very strong. So get a piece 12, rubber band goes over the top like so, and then piece 12 locks that into position really simply. So that's done. And now we need pieces 16, 17, 17 and 18. So here they are here, 16. There's 2 17s, 1, 2, and an 18. Piece 16 goes on first, pushing all the way in. And then our 2 17s on top of that. And then we have 19. And it's saying here on piece 19, you push it into the notch down here, and then it goes in there, like so. Really simple. So we're joining now the side of the pendulum and one of the forward arms, and it just slots in like so, and then slides up. Pretty easy. So now it can stand up by itself. And then we'll take the other side here, put our rubber band feet on it, and we'll need obviously a piece 12 for that. You can see here's an example of spare pieces. See there an example of the plus sign, which means these are emergency pieces. You break the number 12, you've got more number 12s there to use. Once again, we'll cut our 15 millimeters worth of rubber band. Keeping fingers nice and clear. On it goes here, number 12, locks the rubber band in place. That's that done. And we can put this in position here on this side. Push it up. There that is. And then we take out piece 21, which has the STEM Lab logo laser cut into it, and you just open these up a little bit and it goes in here. One side and then the other side. And now we need this frame here, and we'll need piece 27. There's 2 pieces 30, piece 28, 2 26s, and there's quite a few 29s and 24s and 23s we'll use as well. So we'll follow our instructions, pop out piece 28. For this, I am going to use my tool, just so I can be accurate and gentle. And then I'll need a piece 23. You'll see here that this whole actual square can pop out, which is quite easy as well. So I need piece 23 and then piece 24. So I'll do a 23 first. And then a 24. You see how I'm pushing these out too. I put the tool in that slot, and then I can just push it out, pull the tool out, and there's my pieces. We need piece 22. You don't need piece 28 just yet. This is all about piece 22. As you can see there, the instructions. 23. And on goes 24. And we need to wax 23, so we'll do that. We'll just rub the wax around there like so. And then we have our two 225s. I'll use my tool again. And on, there you go. And we also need to wax these pieces as well. Obviously as cogs, they're going to be moving against other pieces and we want to make sure that they don't stick. Push down the bench. And now we need to add a 24 and a 26. So we'll grab our tool and we'll pop out 24. 24 and 26, which are these ones here. Oh, there you go. And then piece 27, which is this large cog in the top right. And then another 26 and then a 23, and we need to wax piece 23. So 26 goes on. And then 23. You can see there, either side of the cog, there's a wider piece and then a narrow piece. That's to give strength to that cog so it doesn't bend either side whilst the pendulum is in operation. So here we are. Waxing piece 23. And then it says here, this is component B. So make sure your component B looks just like this one, as ours does. Next step here, we'll need two 24s in our 28, which we have here. So we'll push out two 24s. 1, 2, and you're looking at the orientation of 28. These tangs are pointing backwards and the 24s go on here. 1, 2, and then we have a 29 on the other side. Push that off. The 29 goes all the way on. We have two 30s, and we definitely want to be careful with these ones. Those long, thin arms, we don't want to accidentally break them. So it's important that these go in the same direction and that they are waxed. So I'll put them on first and then we'll wax them. On they go. Make sure when you're doing it, you're noticing the direction of the spokes on this cogged wheel. Very important. And then we have two 29s, the last two in this little mini frame here. 1, 2, they came out nice and easy. And it goes, and that one goes, and then two 24s, the last two in here. 1, 2, and these will need to be waxed. Remembering that waxing reduces the friction. And our wax hiding under there. There we go. So then it's saying make sure your component C looks like this, and it does. We've got A, B, and C. We need to get the two 25s out of here first. All right, so 2 25s. And then we need this large piece here, piece 31. And we also need another 23, which is the last one here in our little mini frame. So 2 25s, 23, and our 31. And you can see we're starting to assemble things. So step 1, part C goes in there, and we're going to then, on this side, we're going to make sure that our points of our spoke line up with the image, and then we'll turn it around, and then on this side we put on our 2 25s. Which we need to wax. So just turn that around, doing a little waxing. And then we have piece 23 at the end. And it's showing us that's how it should look, and it does, so we've got that correct. So piece B, it goes into this position here, like so, and then we have this component. Make sure you've got the longer end of this pointing outwards. Goes into those 2 holes down the bottom there. Make sure you support that so it doesn't snap. And then B goes into this second hole here, and those cogs need to line up. So that's how that looks, and then there'll be some arms at the top here which hold it all together, and those are pieces 32 here. There's 1, 2 of them, 2 piece 33s, 1 and 2, out they come. And you can see here that these lock in the top, and one goes in there, and the other piece goes in there, and then in here at the top. Pushing in as far as it can go, and then repeating the process on this side. So pushing that in. And just pushing that all the way in there. There we go. And yep, that's all in position. Now we need piece 34 and 2 pieces 35 here. Grab my tool. Now the 35s go in the side here to lock it all together, to add a bit of strength. So you push that in, it goes in a bit of an angle, and it goes. And you may need to get your tool in there because it's a little bit fiddly, and you can push it in like that. There's one on that side. Definitely easy to access that from the back. And then we have piece 34, and it locks in at the very top in here. It's a little tricky, that's okay, just take your time. And just line it all up. There's the top lined up. And I'm just going to use my tool to be able to reach down in there and push that into position. And in it goes. So there's the chassis of our Pendulum. Now we need to piece 38, which is this piece here, piece 37, this piece here, and then 2 36s. So 36 and 36, out they come. Noting the point here on piece 38 is upwards. We attach piece 37 using our two 36 pieces. And they go all the way in like that. Like so. This is how it should look. And then we have pieces 39. So we flip this around and there's a 39 on each one of these pegs here. And these are our 39s here. They push out really easy, which is nice. And on, there you go. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then we need piece 40, and you can see the instructions. It tells us to pay attention because the top part of piece 40 needs to match the top part of piece 38, just like that. And that's that component there together. And then we have two 41s, and these are a little bit delicate, so we will definitely use our tool, push them out. And these slide in the side here. And you need to make note that the top is the top, just like in the diagram. And in they slide all the way in, just like that. Nice and simple. And we need to apply wax to the sides, which is a little bit different. So it's important that we do that because they're potentially going to be sliding in and out from there. So there's one. We'll do the other side. The wax in there. And that's that done. Turn it around and then we have piece 42. And once again, it's telling us that the point needs to be up and the P here, which should be for pendulum, needs to be down when we attach our piece 42, like so. And now it's time for these small rubbers. And these small elastic bands, and we use both of them, and they go in through there, and then around, and then onto the other side, which is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's important that the rubber bands line up in those little notches there. So that's all done. This guy here is popping out, so we'll put him back in. Alright, so if it looks like that, you're on the money. And there's also piece 43 here, which has some very fine gears indeed. So be very careful popping that out. Out it comes. And so we need to add the weight, so we pop this open a little bit and then put that in there, and that's the weight. This is the bottom part of our pendulum. And here's now we're on to making the pendulum itself. So we need piece 44, piece 46, piece 45, and so making sure we have it all lined up correctly. And we've got piece 45 slotting in to piece 44, and then 46 locks the two together. Always pay attention to how things go. Looking at how this image looks, and make sure that the piece that you're inserting into the model looks exactly the same. So we'll push them out. One. Two, and these need to be waxed. And they go on the end here. One, do. So we'll wax our pieces 23 here, all the way around. And this is how it looks. And now pendulum here slides in there. And the idea of the rubber bands is to hold these two locking wedges in place, and this so that we can adjust it. So that's why we have a needle here. There's a needle here pointing to number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And they're the different settings, and that'll change how the pendulum operates. But we're going to leave that for now on a setting 1. And then we need to put in piece 47 down the bottom to lock it in position. And here's our piece 47, very small piece, so we'll use our tool. And it just goes in here, pointing downwards. Now the idea of that is it stops the weight of the pendulum from coming all the way off. We need, for this, we need piece 48 and 49 and another 23, and that is that frame completed. And as per the instructions, this now, the pendulum goes into this position here. You see that? Like so. That's it. Making sure that our gears are going the correct way. Like that. Perfect. And then we have piece 48, and that holds those two pieces together. Like so. And then we have 49, which is basically an indicator to demonstrate the revolutions created by the pendulum. And then 23, which is right here, goes on top. So we should be able to turn this and make a clicking sound, which is great, and we do. And now we need to get a rubber band and we pass it underneath here. I pass it under there and we loop it on here. It says you can use your tool if you need to, but that was pretty simple. And then you loop it here on the side, and we'll put it on the minimum one for now, just to see what happens. So here's our completed pendulum, and we've got a rubber band set on the lowest setting here. And to use it, we hold the pendulum itself, and then we rotate this clockwise. As you can see there, it says wind up, until you can't wind it any further. Like that. Wind it until I can't wind it any further, and you'll feel where it stops, and that's where it stops there. And I've got the weight on the lowest setting, so it'll go at its slowest rate. If you move it up higher, it'll go faster, but we'll let it go and see what happens. And that'll keep on going until the rubber band comes all the way down and gets close to this little return here. You can see it losing power already, and that's it. So if I move the rubber band to the next level up, let's see what happens from there. Remember, we hold the pendulum, we wind clockwise at the back, and let it go. You can see the indicator here, which is like the face of a clock, the hands of a clock, and as it rotates, it's replicating on a smaller scale how a clock would operate. And then if we move this up, so halfway, and wind it again, you can see how much faster it will go. Much faster. It's even actually moving the pendulum. The actual frame itself moving all the way around. There you go. That's it, kids. Hopefully yours is all done, and I'll see you next time here on Charlie Boots.